If I sold a widget today and made my profit, I am booking a liability on that product for the next 5 years, though, right? And a lot of these, the warranties have gotten so broad today. It's not because it's defective, right? It's because it's really customer satisfaction.
What is an 831B?
So it's a tax code.
Okay.
When I say 401ks is where you would find it in our tax code, federal tax code, right? 831B is the same thing. It's very similar to a 401k. When the business owners first start to hear about this, we try to formulate because everybody knows about 401k, right? Of
course.
It's designed to defer if contributions are deductible at the company level, and it's designed for your owner's retirement and the employee's retirement. And it's an incentive, right? Because if it wasn't deferral, if I couldn't take a deduction on my contributions to my employees on my 401k, I wouldn't be offering it, right? That's the incentive. In an 831B, it's the same thing, but it's an incentive because of the self-insuring risk business owners have. A good example I give clients is, if I had a warranty risk, let's say I had a 5-year warranty on my product I manufactured. Well, that's an unbooked liability, meaning if I sold a widget today and made my profit, I am booking a liability on that product for the next 5 years, though, right? And a lot of these, the warranties have gotten so broad today. It's not because it's defective, right? It's because it's really customer satisfaction.
Right.
The customer now has the power to do a review on your product that can be very detrimental, and so what do? You just fix it. You replace it, whatever. But these are liabilities you're booking on the books. And, if you don't take $1 and set it off to the side and say, hey, if something happens, I'm going to use this $1, Uncle Sam says, no. The year you incur the income is the year you pay the taxes, as we all know. 831B was designed back in 1986 because what was happening back then was a lot of clients just couldn't get insurance. Or if you had one claim, you're being non-renewed. So now we're having this, they call it the liability crisis. I actually wrote an article for Forbes on it and why the 86 tax code came about. But what the Congress did then was basically say, listen, we're going to create an incentive for you to recognize risk you can't transfer, you just retaining your company, and we're going to give it, at that point, you could put up to $1.2 million into that 831B plan. Just like that's a contribution limit, right? So that's where it started. And it was really designed, again, for handling general liability, work comp, things that were either too expensive to get that you had exposure to, or you just couldn't simply buy insurance for it anymore. And another aspect of that was crop insurance. Crop insurance, what was happening in crop insurance at that time, private sector was getting out of it, and now it's become a government program, no different than FEMA today, right? So most crop insurance programs are either backed by the federal government or they are the federal government that has the paper. They just put the paper on some other carrier, but it's really backed by the creditworthiness of the federal government. Because it's just so catastrophic, so expensive to manage and everything else. That's why private sectors don't want to be in crop insurance. So that was another thing that was happening too, was farmers were finding themselves not able to buy crop insurance. And again, Congress said, okay, well, we got to put this money aside in an event these things happen, and we want to keep it tax deferral. Why? Because the farmer, the business owner, whatever, just has a lot more money to work with. Because when we talk about today's risk, we're just talking, okay, if I got a hit with a brand damage where somebody came in, if I own a restaurant, they got foodborne illness, right? And now I got to shut down for 3 days and I'm making the local news. Okay, that's my brand, right? That my brand is everything in today's world, especially with the social medias and the age of information we're in. Well, how are you going to fight that? Where are you going to turn to? You can't buy traditional insurance for that. Traditional insurance doesn't cover brand damage. So what are you going to do? You're going to go down to the bank and get an extra line of credit now and go, hey, I got to go hire a publicity agency up. I got to hire advertising. I got to recoup my good name. Or are you going to take advantage of companies' products like 831B and build a war chest for those things in the event they happen? And so when we start talking about all those different things that go on out there, and then of course here comes COVID-19. I mean, if PPP didn't hit, I think we would have. Thank God. I mean, I hate the fact we spent $5 trillion and just pumped it out and threw it out in the economy. Don't get me wrong, but I think on the side of that, what would have happened if we didn't? Because why? Because businesses are not ill prepared for those rainy day type situations. I mean, there's never been an incentive for business owners to save money. There's been all the incentive in the world to spend money, and God bless them, small to middle market business owners. I always talk about subcontractors. I love them. They make $1 and they spend $1.10. It's what they know. But at the end of the day, though, you got to recognize the risk you took as a business owner, the employees you're help supporting, the families they support, house payments, all the other things that go into that. Your business helps create a life for people, and then you go buy more stuff, you take on more debt, or do you play it straight like big businesses do? Big businesses have been using these types of tools for literally decades now. What we did was we brought our price points down to where the small middle market business owners can now participate in these types of programs. These are tools that have been around for a long time. And unfortunately, I talk in front of business groups all the time. I talk in front of CPAs and all that. And this is the first time they're hearing about this code. And it's just slightly frustrating for us because it's like, had we had a bunch of people that had 831Bs and had piled money way over, we wouldn't have had to do PPP, right? If everybody had their own little 831Bs set aside, they could have turned to use that money. But what did we do? We pumped $5 trillion into the economy that was artificially. Nothing was sold, marketed, or built. And now what do we have? We have inflation through the roof. And who knows when that's going to end at this point. We just literally put a bunch of dollars into our economy, and it's causing who knows, right? I don't know I don't want to get too political here on that. In fact, we don't need to. It's simple economics. When you artificially put in $5 trillion into the economy, you can expect inflation.
When you pump 40% of all the dollars in circulations in the last couple of years, something's going to change
exactly.
for sure. So let me just make sure I understand it, because I have never heard of this code before. So is it essentially just a rainy day fund, a savings account that you can basically write off against the revenue in order to just drop your
taxable income for that year? Yep.
Okay, so
it's a C corp.
Okay.